Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, we'll be looking at something called email only authentication, or also known as magic link authentication, using NextJS and NextAuth, or now it is known as authJS. So, to start off with, I logged into this website today called iCodeThis.com, which has front-end challenges which comes up every single day. So you can look at these challenges and try doing them. It's a brilliant way to, get more confident with your front end. So I tried logging in and then saw that this has a magic link authentication. So I thought, why not try this out? So I use Next.js primarily, and I thought NextAuth is probably the best way to have authentication inside your Next.js application. I correct myself, it's auth.js now. So it has email password authentication, OAuth authentication using Google, GitHub, Discord, all that stuff, and it also has email authentication. Now, how does email authentication work? So the user, when they come to your application, like for example over here, they will enter their email. For example, if I'll just show you how this works. So if I enter my email over here and click on login using magic link, it says please check your email. If I refresh my email, it will have, well, let me show this one. Yeah, so it is working with Superbase apparently. So it sends you a magic link, and if you click on this link, which is the newer one, yeah, if you click on this link, it will log in to your application and it will start working. Now this is a very I like there's a whole lot of debate going around on whether if this is the most secure way, because well, the fact that the advantage of it is only like it assumes the fact that only you have access to your email, which is fair. But if a person gets a hold of a device and gets your access to your email, then your account is pretty much in danger. And also the fact that there's a lot of chance of the email the email not transmitting what's the right word, transmission, what's the verb for that? Yeah, anyways, there's a problem with email transmission. Like you can't figure out the success rate for it is not always 100%. But well, everything has its downsides as well. So I would definitely suggest that before choosing an authentication method for application, you should look at all the, well, your what kind of customers you're having in your, or customers or users you're having into your application, and based on that you can make a decision on what kind of authentication you want to use. So without wasting any more time, I'll jump right in. I'll open my terminal and I'll create a new Next.js application. I'll use pnpm like I always do. You can use npm or yarn, either works. Next auth magic link. Okay, that works. I'll use TypeScript. I'll use ESLint. You can follow along with this even if you're using JavaScript. There's not much of an addition. I don't think there's any addition in this case actually. So you can follow along even if you're using JavaScript. I don't want to use the src directory. I won't use the app directory. If you're using the app directory, the only change is the fact that you don't need to wrap your whole app inside a context like we have to do in this case. You can directly use the use session inside your server components. Import alias, would you like to be configured? Sure. This will install, might take a second or two. Yep, we're done. I'll just open NextAuth magic link and I'll open this using Visual Studio Code. And we've opened this now. So I'll just start off this application. using pnpm run dev. And if I open this should open up a brand new Next.js application on localhost 3000, which might take a second or two, and there it is. So we'll start off by setting up NextAuth, or again auth.js. If I go over here and go into over the authentication, you can follow along from here. We'll install NextAuth. I'll actually use pnpm again, pnpm add NextAuth. Well, they are actually working on auth/Next.js because now they're moving to add auth and then add auth/svelte and all that. It's a good thing to keep a track of all these things happening. Okay, we've installed NextAuth. And now the next step is configuring your API route. So the way NextAuth works is, I'm assuming that you have a little bit of knowledge about how NextAuth works before coming into this. But the way NextAuth works is you have an API route inside your Next.js application, which these API routes, which take care of your NextAuth endpoints. So when you hit these endpoints, it works with your NextAuth package, auth.js package. So the way this works is, inside your API directory, inside the pages directory, you need to create a folder named auth, and inside that we will have a wildcard API route with NextAuth dot. I'll use TS in this case. You can use JS, that is completely fine, and we can pretty much copy paste this whole thing. And over here, instead of GitHub authentication, we will have this email authentication provider. I'll just copy and paste this. I'll go over what this is talking about. Now, if you look at this is using the email, the class, or the function in this case, for setting up the provider for the email provider. This needs to be imported. So this is there. Yeah, okay. So this is being imported from NextAuth/provider/email. You can get rid of get provider. To get this started, you need to work with something called SMTP, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So not getting too deep into it, this is the mail protocol for the protocol for transmitting mail, and you can, like the docs does talk about using something like SendGrid, but for this purpose I'll just be using Gmail SMTP to get this started. So to get started, I'll have a .env inside my root and I'll be adding these 4 things over here. I'll be having the SMTP host, I'll be having the SMTP port, I'll be having the SMTP user and the SMTP underscore password, if I'm not wrong, and the email from. Okay, so the SMTP host will be using Gmail's SMTP, which is written as smtp.gmail.com. This works on the port 587, if I'm not wrong. Gmail SMTP port. Yeah, this works on TLS 587, outgoing mail SMTP. So that should work. And SMTP user, you can add your the user you want to send the email from and the password. I'll be doing this off screen. And the email from, you can actually let me actually cut this out for a second and show you what I'm doing over here. So you can actually have something like your name, and then the email which with you're sending your link from inside the angle brackets. So you can do something like that, and you should be up and running with your .env file. So I'll just close that so that my credentials are not visible in that, and I will be restarting my server because the .env file has changed. They do say that they actually restart your env, but sometimes it doesn't work. So we'll just do it. This number is being changed here because it is being typecast to a number because any process.env or something returns a string. So you need to change it to a number. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's just have a look at what else we need to work with here. Yes, we also need to set up something called NextAuth secret inside your .env. I will have to open my .env again. Okay, I've just cut it out. You don't need to cut it out. We need to have this NextAuth underscore secret. With it is like the secret on the basis of which your well, it's used like as a key for encrypting your tokens, putting it in the most basic way I can. And you can add any random string over here, but well, they do suggest you to use OpenSSL's CLI. So if you have most machines do have OpenSSL installed nowadays. If you don't, just add a random string. Else you can do OpenSSL rand base6432 dash base6432. You can copy this and then paste it over here. Okay, off screen I'll add back my email credentials to get. I lost my clipboard. 1 second. I'll just. Yeah, so off the stream I added back my email credentials. So now that is done, also one thing which they have forgotten to mention here, but they do need another thing in your .env. I keep forgetting to add my .env things. Yep, so you do need to add another thing called NextAuth underscore, what's it called, NextAuth URL or next URL. Yeah, I think it's NextAuth URL. 1 second, let me just take a look again. Yeah, so NextAuth URL over here. That will be the URL, like the base URL. For example, this one is localhost 3000, so you need to use localhost 3000 over here. You do need the protocol as well, so HTTP. When you're deploying your application in production, you need to change your NextAuth URL to the domain name of that application, preceded by your protocol HTTPS. Yeah, you will be using SSL main most probably. So once that is done, I'll add back my credentials. Yeah, okay. We should be done with our .env stuff mainly. I'll be using it for Prisma again, but yeah. So now that is done, we can set up our NextAuth client inside our application. So for that, inside your underscore app.tsx, just remove this and wrap this inside something called the session provider. Session provider. I am not getting any autocomplete on this, but okay. Session provider, that is closed, and you can import this from NextAuth React, yeah. So if you just hover over this is the session provider. It takes in props. It takes in something called the session, which you can get from your page props being passed over here. All you need to do is destructure this back again, get the session from this, and then you can destructure back page props, because you do need to pass in those over here. This is session. That's all there is to setting up your session over here. Okay, now that that is done, I also need to get Prisma's NextAuth adapter setup over here. So for that, I will be going to databases, using a database adapter, other all available adapters, and go to Prisma. So over here you can start off with Prisma. We need to install these two. So this is a Prisma client which Prisma uses. So I'll be, yeah, so pnpm add Prisma client, and this is the adapter for Prisma for NextAuth. And then you also need to install Prisma, just Prisma as a dev dependency. Wait, I think this doesn't matter, but that's how it works. Okay, so we're done with installing Prisma. We need to now init it. So if you've used Prisma before, it's a database client for your, well, it's very well suited for NextJS applications. All it helps you get started with connecting your database to your application, and it's probably one of the most widely used database adapters nowadays. There's TypeORM, there's SQLize used to be very popular back in the day. It still is. I don't know, I haven't used it in a while. MongoDB, there used to be Mongoose, but now Mongoose client has also gotten very popular. So yeah, so getting back to Prisma, so I need to add to an existing project, look at relational databases, npx Prisma. We need to initialize Prisma inside our application, so just do pnpm Prisma init. Okay, we've gotten to over 20 minutes of the video. It's not bad. So what this does is creates this Prisma / schema.prisma for you. And it adds something to your .env. I just again do my thing of removing my email from here. Okay, well, that is done. Okay, so this adds this database URL over here, the database to which your application is connecting. I'm assuming that you all have a little bit of experience with Prisma and working with databases inside NextJS. But even if you don't, just try to follow along here. I'll be using MySQL because I have it set up properly inside my device, and change this to a MySQL URL, MySQL : /root. I don't have a password, else you just have this password over here like that. I don't have a password. It doesn't work for me on localhost for some reason. It works on 127.0.0.1, and the port for MySQL is 3306. This works. I can just create a new database. I can say NextAuth magic link, and just leave it there. I just log into my MySQL and create a database NextAuth magic link. You can, if you're using this on production, you can use something like PlanetScale. I forgot the name for a second. PlanetScale has great support for Postgres and MySQL, so you can use PlanetScale. I can't remember of another. I don't know if Railway has support for databases, but it's a great way of deploying your application as well. So Yeah, so that should get up and running. My Prisma should be working now, and we do need to set up our user schema for Prisma. So NextAuth has this setup already. You just need to copy paste this. I'll just explain this once. So if you look at this, this has an account, a session, and a user and a verification token. The only things which we need to look at over here is your user. So this is your basic user inside your application. They have a name, they have email verified image. All this is taken care of by the Prisma adapter for NextAuth, and it has accounts. More often than not, you'll be using one account. Just ignore this for now. And they have sessions. Session is one login inside a particular device. So if you're logging into another device, it creates another session. Excuse me. Now, the other thing which is very important here is this verification token. Now, this is the verification token which is being sent inside your login, the sign-in email link, and it actually cross-checks with this verification token which will be inside your database, and verify if the person is using the right link or not, and if it has expired or not. If I'm not wrong, NextAuth.js has a 24-hour limit on your expiry. Yeah, it is valid for 24 hours. So a verification token is sent, and if they click on it, it logs in via that. Email provider can also be used using GWT tokens if you want to take a look into that later. So how do we send the email? I am not sure if I installed this, but how do we send? NodeMailer is a package which enables us to send emails from a Node.js application. So even if you're not using NextAuth and want to send an email, NodeMailer is a fantastic way to do that. Did I close this? Yeah. Okay. Just add your NodeMailer inside this, and NextAuth will use it under the hood inside the email authentication provider, whatever that terminology is. Setting up an adapter. This is where the docs use MongoDB adapter, but I'll be using Prisma. Well, you can follow along and use this if you want, but all we need to do over here is go into your NextAuth. Okay, did I add back my .env email credentials? No, I didn't. Okay, 1 second. I'll just pause my stream for a second. Okay, the amount of times I've had to do that. Okay, anyways. So all we need to do is over here add an adapter. Is this a list? No, you just need to add the adapter right away. Just say Prisma adapter. Okay, NextAuth has very bad support for autocomplete imports for some reason. I don't know why, but all you need to do now, so you need to install these, import these two over here, and initialize a Prisma client. If you use Prisma before, this is all very boilerplate code. You might have to set up this in somewhere else inside a db/prisma or whatever if you're using Prisma, but just for the sake of authentication, you can put it directly inside your API route, and it should work. Yeah, okay. Just pass in Prisma over here, and we should be fine with that. Now Prisma doesn't have any types here because okay, right. So now that we had the schema, we do need to tell our database that these are the type. Well, create the tables inside the database, right? So all we need to do for that is run npx prisma migrate dev. This will create something called a migration file. Yeah, you don't have any models Oh, I didn't save them, sorry. Let's migrate dev again. I'll just name this init, say initializing the migration. This is the first migration. If you take a look at this, this is creating all these tables. Create table, user verification, alter table for adding the foreign keys. Yeah, not very relevant. Prisma takes care of it very well under the hood. And we can generate types for a TypeScript app. Even if you're using JavaScript, it's better to have the types for this these well, user etc. What this enables is Prisma now has, well, should have a type. Why is this happening now? Let's see. Yeah, if you restart your TS server, that should be fine. Now Prisma has types. So if you do something like Prisma dot user, now this will have types on what you can do with that user. That's where generate comes into play. Not very relevant to what we're doing today, but something you should know. Okay, so we have integrated Prisma into our application. I think we're mostly done actually. Yeah, this should work. Right. So now all we need to do is go to slash or API slash auth slash sign in inside our application. Let me just restart my server once because the .env might not be reloaded again. Okay, let me just refresh once. Taking a while. Okay, almost there. Right. Full reload. Okay, that is done. I'll just go to slash API slash auth slash sign in. Yep. Okay, I'll just add my email over here, or actually I'll use a different. You know what? I'll use this mail and click on sign in with email. Doesn't seem to be working. Oh, sorry, I didn't click properly, my bad. But if you sign in with the email, it says check your email, a sign in link has been sent to your email address. If you go back and click on this, it sends you an email, perfect. And click on sign in, and you should be up and going. Now there's no indication of whether it's signed in or not, so I'll just go over here. I'll say const is it called data? I don't remember. 1 second. Use session. I'll just copy paste these two and then console.log user email. I won't save it right now. I'll open my console and enable that nothing is clear. Nothing is there, no, and everything is clear. I'll just import this. This is also there's the possibility that user is also undefined, so you need to say question mark after user as well. And the moment you save, you see that the user has been logged in. And that is it for, well, that was very, very simple. We were up and running in half an hour, and we had authentication inside our application setup. It is very cool how NextAuth does so much under the hood, and it's so easy to plug in everything in such a short amount of time. So that is it for this video. One thing I forgot to mention actually is, if you're using Gmail to send your emails, you need to enable something called less secure apps. So if you just Google search less secure app access, you will and open this inside your account, you need to go and allow less secure apps to be on. The thing is that the possibility that you'll be using your Gmail to send an email in production is very less. So at that time, we'll switch this back to off and use something like SendGrid, which is being recommended by, or not recommended, but it's a very popular way of sending emails nowadays. So you can use SendGrid. You can use there's something about monkey. There's something regarding monkey. Mail. I don't remember, but let's see. 1 second. You can use Twilio. Twilio is pretty good. Mailchimp. Yeah, it's a chimpanzee, not a monkey. But yeah, you can use Mailchimp. Wait, Mailchimp was a automation, wasn't it? Anyways, I don't remember what that was. You can use SendGrid. SendGrid is pretty good. It has a pretty decent free plan as well. So you can use that. You can use Gmail, like I mentioned, but again, using that in production is a little iffy because setting up your own email will be a little bit of mess. Also, this should in Kavinvalli because I wrote Kavinvalli and angle brackets inside that, and the email is still coming from the email which I specified it to come from. So yeah, that is for it for this video. If you liked it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be posting more videos shortly. Uh, if you want more, if you want to read a few articles on tech and web dev, you can go to liveco247.com. I posted an article yesterday on NeoVim essential plugins, which did pretty well. Anyways, so that's it for this video. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.